Charlie, my man, it is an honor to have you, man. How are you tonight?
Doing great. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Man, absolutely. It is our pleasure. So we're just going to dive right in, icebreaker, kind of get things going here.
Absolutely.
All right. Picture this, Charlie. You have your own late night talk show. Who do you invite on as your first guest?
As my first guess, goodness, that's right into it. I'm going. Hmm.
Wes Johnson.
I feel like that's the right answer.
So it's
Um,
not the answer we want then. If it's, I mean, no, I'm just, it could be anybody you want.
I'd have to go with probably my roommate Coleman Willis. I feel like you could get some pretty good comedy out of that. Me and him have gotten to know each other pretty well over the past couple of years, but I mean, I think that'd be who I'd be most comfortable with, and I think it'd be a good time.
I would be
Right
most
on.
comfortable with Scarlett Johansson, Randy. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna,
that's a good
Margot
call.
I'm just gonna get in trouble
Robbie.
with the wife right now. Yeah, that would
Have you
make
ever?
justification because of Barbie. You would just say you're
Exactly.
going with what's popular. You're not. It has nothing to even do with her.
All right, Charlie, it doesn't get any easier, or maybe it does. The zombie apocalypse is coming. We're talking
Okay.
Walking Dead.
Yep.
Who are your three Georgia teammates you want with you in order to stay alive?
There's one answer that comes to the top of the head, and it's the easy answer. Everyone would say it's Colin Caldwell. Kid's from South Georgia. He's familiar with the shotgun. He's the guy you want on your side for sure. I'd be a little bit worried about him having enough of me at some point though. And then two more. I'll go DJ Radke as the brains, and I'll go. What else do we need?
I mean, you got a killer.
Yeah, we got a killer. We got the
Maybe we
brain.
now we need like a hunter gatherer, maybe.
Exactly. And I'm gonna go. This is another one of my roommates. This is Chandler Marsh. He is what keeps me on top of my schoolwork. He is what keeps me on top of everything. And so I think he just keeps everything in check and it's kind of the facilitator. So I think that's a pretty well rounded three right there.
You see DB down there, he's that guy for us, man. He's always the guy that keeps you on your toes. All right, man. You have to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You
Okay.
have to do karaoke. What song are you doing?
I got asked this not that long ago. I think my answer was Friends in Low Places by Brooks Jefferson. That one's up there, but I'm a little all over the map. I could definitely rock some Taylor Swift or and anything that pleases the crowd, you know. But I think Friends in Low Places is definitely up there.
Are you familiar? I'm sure you are. You're familiar with Travis Kelce, right?
Oh yeah.
The
Oh
Chiefs.
yeah.
See, did you see where he tried to give Taylor Swift a friendship bracelet with his phone number on
Yes.
it, and she
I
wouldn't take it?
heard
What's up, man? Kelsey?
that was messed up. I know. You think if anybody could do it, it would be him. But man, I guess that just goes to show that you never know.
I got to be honest, Charlie. I think Kelsey could do better. I think
He
he
probably
could.
could. He's done a thing or two in his life that lines him up well.
He is my celebrity crush. But anyways, on that, who is your celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. I'm going. So this one, it's an actress named Anna de Armas. And she's not super well known, but I think she's just 100% my type. I'd say
I'm gonna have to Google her. We'll talk about that
she's
offline.
she's been in some stuff. She's good.
Okay. All right. Last question before I turn you over to DB. Favorite
Mhm.
athlete growing up?
Favorite athlete growing up. Okay, so outside of baseball, I'm a big golf fan, so I watch a lot of golf. And I'd say this isn't growing up. This is kind of more current, but I'm a
That's
big
fine.
Max Homa fan on tour.
Yeah.
I've been following his socials for a while. He's a great guy and also can swing it pretty good. But yeah, I'd say Max Homa is my
All right.
my
I lied.
favorite athlete.
I said I was turning you over, but I got a question since you brought up
Uh-huh.
golf. What's your
Yeah.
what's your handicap?
Oh, it's not what it needs to be for as much as I've been playing the past couple of weeks. That's actually what I was just doing before I got here. But I don't play a ton in the spring. I try to play as much as I can in the fall. I
That's
mean,
the
I'd
best time to
like,
play anyway.
no doubt, no doubt. I'd like to say it's somewhere around 12 or 15. I'd like to think I can shoot in the mid to high 80s consistently, but my friends would probably beg to differ.
I just got back from Florida. I was in Destin, Miramar, the whole area where we stayed. I played in the Raven. I don't know if you've ever heard of it down there,
Okay, yeah.
but it used to be a private course. Now it's public because I don't have that kind of hookups. Man, it's like I was explaining to the guys we were playing with. Man, I didn't shoot very good, but
Yeah.
like a bad day on the golf course is better than a great day in the office, right?
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Couldn't say it better myself.
Man, I would need at least room for 3 digits on a golf cart. Sure.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, if you ever get a chance to play the Raven, it's super nice, but it is hard. It is
Oof.
not easy.
It's
Water
long-
everywhere, trees
It's a
everywhere.
workout.
As
It
long as the
is.
cooler is there, because I'm going to play bad, at least I can have fun in another way.
There you
You
go.
never go a hole without seeing a cart girl, so you're good. It's awesome.
It's
Randy,
my kind of course.
I could see a lot of fairway in struggle.
Well,
That's
facts.
that is, man.
You know what
All right,
Daniel needs,
Charlie.
because this is a baseball episode. Daniel needs to go 10 cup. He needs to be able to throw it up and hit it with a baseball bat, and he'd be good.
Baseball players are actually really good at golf. Most of them. Not saying.
So what happened with DB?
I'm okay. Take the driver out of the equation.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know what it is. It's
That's
just,
not fun.
I know, right?
Gets you in trouble though. It's not your friend.
So
No, not at all. It's like I see guys like my dad go out there and they'll club down and like hit the ball straight. They may
get a
have
4-iron, play
Yeah.
it
That's
safe,
no
200.
fun. That's no fun.
Look, I was on the hole the other day, and it was like a long par 5. Get off there, and you got to hit it safe, and you're good. You're in the fairway. So I was actually playing with my ex-wife's husband. Weird story. Doesn't matter. So he's like, man, I think I'm going to hit my 4-iron. And I'm like, bro, ain't no 4-iron. It's 520 yards to the flag. He's like, yeah, but you can't get it. It's dog leg left. I hit it so bad that it was good, Charlie. I'm talking about
And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and especially in golf.
Amen.
And
Amen.
layups are for basketball. That's what I
And
always
since
say.
we went so far left, Daniel, I got to ask you, the movie 10 Cup, where he's going for it all, he refuses to lay up. Is that you?
Oh yeah, yeah. And
I'm never laying up.
You can't.
Stupidity takes over, not pride, not anything else, just pure dumb stupidity. And yeah, that's me. I have to go, Charlie. I have to go to the range, not to practice, but to take the balls for my round.
Yeah, no, you got to throw a
I-
couple in the pocket.
So I'm not losing my good stuff.
Last thing I'm gonna say on this: when we were at the Raven, I go in there and I had 3 sleeves of balls in my bag. I'm checking out, and it's like $200 a round. And the guy's like, "Hey, do you need any additional golf balls?" And I'm looking at him.
come
He's
on.
looking at me. I'm like, he's like, "How many do you have?" I'm like, "I got 9." He's like, "I would suggest a dozen." I'm like,
You and I both know.
I said, "Of course I need them." I was like, "No, I don't need no balls." And then when my husband-in-law walked out, I was like, "All right, a dozen right here. You got it."
That's tough.
Husband-in-law. Oh my God.
Do you think he looked at you and was like, "This dude needs some extra"?
It's going to be more than 9.
Bro, I knew it too. First hole, first swing, I was like, wait, breakfast ball. I hit it right into the water. And then my next shot, I piped it down the middle. I was like, look, player B, legit.
Player B shoots a 65 every day. That's how it
Every
goes.
day.
I'll just stay at the clubhouse bar, and y'all meet me when y'all get back. All right, boys. Just take a seat in there.
We'll
It
see you
was so
twice
hot.
around. That's
Yeah.
it. All right, Charlie, man. Let's get this thing going, man. Tell me a little bit about where you're from. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in Marietta, Georgia. It's about 15 or 20 minutes to the northwest of Atlanta. Grew up around the East Cobb area. It's the travel ball hub of the world, as I'm sure y'all know. Went to public elementary school, and then was lucky enough to go to private high school and middle school. And so that's the Walker School is where I played. It's a smaller school. I think I graduated in a class of about 95, but yeah, Marietta, Georgia is the stomping grounds for me.
So Marietta, what's home look like? Mom, dad, brothers, sisters?
Yeah, mom, dad, and then I'm the youngest of 3. I've got an older brother and then the oldest sister. So they, I think they're both a good bit older than me. I think my brother's 4 years older than me, and my sister's 7 years older than me.
What was it like growing up? Were you catching the beatings? Is that what made you the man you are today?
I'm actually lucky enough. I can't even I got to give credit to my brother on this. He actually didn't give me too hard of a time, but he's partly what got me into baseball. I was dragged to his games growing up when I was really little, and just being around it and wanting to be a part of those practices with him and dad were really what got me into it, and that's just kind of where it started. So I got to give him credit there. And I'd probably say I fight with my sister more than I fight with my brother. She and I don't know, we've always butted heads a little bit, but it's all love.
She says she's not having your nonsense, Charlie. She ain't got
She's
time for
not.
that.
No, she does not.
So you mentioned obviously one of the things that we see and we notice a lot of is the younger sibling having an older sibling who starts sport and they're always trying to compete and play up and play at that level. So it seems like you had a lot of that.
For sure.
Would you attribute to your success now as that being a key factor, like playing above your age and having to play up, or even just seeing what it's like at the next level all the time?
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. And even to go along with that, just growing up in the group of neighborhood kids that I grew up with, I was also kind of on the younger group. Me and a couple other kids were a good deal younger than the rest of the guys. So, I mean, going to your friend's house after school in elementary school and playing football in the backyard, and just always kind of that smaller guy, but playing with a group of bigger kids. I think it definitely is what kind of laid the foundation for the competitiveness and trying to keep up with all the older big kids, and yeah, I think that I do have to attribute some of my success to that.
Nice. Now, obviously, baseball was something that you started at a young age,
Mhm.
probably as early as you could pick up a baseball or a glove or a bat. But was baseball the only sport you played?
It wasn't. So I played baseball, obviously, starting pretty young, 3 or 4, and then my dad really wanted me to play basketball for as long as I could. That was kind of his main sport growing up. He played basketball and football. Wasn't really big into baseball, but was all for me playing it when I decided that's what I was wanting to do. But yeah, no, I was baseball, basketball, football, and basketball kind of simmered out through about middle school. I think 8th grade was my last year with basketball. They'd had enough of me bricking 3 pointers when I was taller than everyone else. And then football, same story. I played through my senior year of high school. Was definitely nothing special. Played quarterback pretty much by default because we didn't have anyone else. But I enjoyed it. It was a nice balance between that and baseball, but those were my big three growing up.
So, you mentioned it a few minutes ago, being around East Cobb, Georgia's very famous for travel ball. Before we get into your high school, tell me a little bit about travel ball. Who did you play for, and what was that experience like?
So I played pretty much when I was really little. I played for just the local East Side park that was kind of your rec league and your occasional summer ball all stars. And then when I was 6, or no, when I was 9, sorry, I went to 643 DP, which is where I played my travel ball. It's based out of Marietta, and I played there from 9U to 18U. My 18U summer after my senior year was my last travel ball day, which was crazy after doing it for so long and having that just be 100% of what your summers consisted of. To see that go away was definitely a little crazy, but yeah, no, 643 DP was who I played with growing up.
With all the teams so congested in that
Mhm.
area, were there ever any like pull to get you to play on other teams? And because to me, I feel like maybe it's not. It seems like it would be a rare occurrence that, at a young age, you're staying with the same travel team for as long as you did.
Yeah, no, there's definitely incentive to pick up with other teams, but I mean, you get in that hub, and it's so competitive, and no matter everyone's playing in the same tournaments, so it's like you're getting the same competition. Whoever you play with, it's just the guys. And that was what kept me at 643 was just the teammates and the same guys that I'd grown up playing with, and I wanted to play with them every summer. And I mean, you're going to be playing at East Cobb or Lake Point pretty much every weekend anyway. So, but yeah, there's just and you don't see the same faces every weekend because there are so many teams that you get in a different pool, and it doesn't matter that, like, it's not like, oh, we have them again, we played them the past 3 weekends in a row. It's new faces and teams coming from across the country to play in Georgia, so that was definitely a huge resource.
Yeah, if you've ever been there and stayed for multiple weekends, it makes you realize how many baseball teams are actually
Yeah,
out.
it's unreal, it's absurd.
It's a lot. Obviously, you played in high school. You were a great athlete in high school. What high school did you attend?
I went to the Walker School, just a smaller school right by Marietta High School, close to downtown Marietta. It's about 15 minutes from my house growing up, but yeah, smaller school, but was definitely still fun to get that athletic experience.
Yeah, I mean, you took full advantage of it. You batted 432. You were named the 2021 Hitter of the Year in the region, along with first team All Region. Um, you helped the Wolverines advance to Sweet 16 in the state playoffs as a senior. You're a 4-year starter. You led the team in several categories, including hits, RBIs, doubles. You posted a 5.15 batting average as a junior, and you were a 4-year letterman in football and starting quarterback for the final 3 years. I think you mentioned the football part of it, but you kind of, I think you were being a humble guy. You didn't really say a whole lot about, just, they didn't have anybody. I was a quarterback. It's kind of a big deal when you are able to step in and go, all right, I'll just be the quarterback for you guys for 3 years. But I got to know, man, if you've ever played football and baseball, it's something special about football. But of the two, like which did you love more, Friday night football or just baseball on the diamond? Like
I'm gonna be honest, in high school, it's really tough to beat Friday Night Lights, even for small schools like Walker, because also football, like let alone, was also my bigger group of friends. I had a couple of good friends that played baseball too, but pretty much my entire friend group played football, and so going out there and playing in front of obviously not a huge crowd at my school, but still just in front of everyone that you know and everyone you're in class with and going to school with, it's really fun. And I'd say some of my best athletic memories just from high school definitely come from the football field, even more so than the baseball field.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you get, like, in baseball, there's times where you get that feeling, but it's the same feeling you get on Friday, but every Friday night you get that feeling. And
Yeah.
it doesn't go away, and it's always
Mhm.
there, no matter how good or bad your team is, or how good or bad the team you're playing is. You always have that special feeling, and
Mhm.
I would wish everyone to feel that at least once. It's a
No
it's a
doubt.
pretty cool idea or
Yeah,
feeling.
for sure.
Um, Obviously, we can't gloss over the academic portion of your career. You were a member of the National Honor Society, National Spanish Honor Society. How were you able to balance it all and have so much success on the diamond, on the gridiron, but also keep it, on point in the classroom as well?
A lot of that, just credit goes to my mother, just keeping me on pace. I mean, obviously, growing up, you're going to want to spend more times running around outside playing baseball than you are doing work in the classroom. But my mom and my dad made sure that I was kind of staying in the middle of the road socially, academically, and athletically, and taking care of what I needed to in the classroom. Just because, I mean, as long as you want to play this game, there's going to come a day where you can't anymore, and just to be able to have a backup plan is something that they always preach to me. Just to take out academics seriously, because in my high school career, I wasn't totally sure that I was going to be able to go play big D1 athletics like I am now, and so to have the academic background to help me get into some of these schools like Georgia, which I think is a big reason of why I even got an opportunity to play here. It was big time, and I definitely owe them a lot of credit for keeping my head on straight in the classroom for sure.
Be honest now, mom put the fear of God in you when it
No
came
doubt,
to
no
academics,
doubt.
right?
Oh, I definitely messed up. I think there was one time I left my backpack at school, and I had been saying I was doing homework for the last 2 hours, and I just wasn't. And I think that was a big turning point in my
She
career
knew.
that she
She knew.
she let me have it, and I was like, all right, I got to lock it in just a little bit because that's not going to cut it.
Message received loud and clear.
Exactly.
So obviously you're playing, in Marietta, you're playing travel ball, you're playing at a high level, you're getting seen on probably a regular basis on the weekends. So when did you start getting recruited, and what were the top options?
Yeah, so my recruiting process is not your average recruiting process for sure. I was, like I said and talked about earlier, I was playing football for high school also. So some of that fall ball that a lot of baseball players play also just wasn't really a thing for me, just because I was having summer workouts for football, and then obviously the middle of the season is that August through November time of year, which a lot of baseball gets played then. So I wasn't able to get out there and get seen like some guys were. But then I'd say recruiting really started for me. I'd say maybe beginning of my junior year, and it was nothing crazy. It was at the time I was still somewhat interested in trying to go dual sport to play football and baseball, and so that was interest from a lot of smaller D3 and D1 schools like Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee, and Sewanee in Tennessee, just to try to do both. And it wasn't something that I was particularly interested in, just because I definitely had a much bigger love for baseball than I did for football. But if that was going to help me get into some of those schools, it was something I was interested in doing. And then as time went on, COVID hit the end of my junior year and beginning of my senior year, and that's kind of when things started to change for me a little bit. I kind of put my head down, and I knew that where I was before COVID wasn't going to be enough to let me play at the level that I wanted to play at, which was Power Five D1 baseball. And so I kind of used that as my opportunity to get in the weight room, trying to get my diet a little bit better because I was this big around. I'm still not that big, but it's something we're still working on. And when I got to keep playing travel ball as soon as COVID wrapped up, it was I saw a big improvement in my game, and I was able to hit the ball further, actually hit some home runs, and um, started to get a little bit of hype, but still had a long way to go. And I was lucky to have some people in my travel ball organization help me out and try to get exposure to bigger programs. So I ended up getting some interest from Tennessee and Georgia, both as preferred walk-on spots. And growing up in the Georgia area, a Georgia football fan my whole life, I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. And I didn't commit until October of my senior year was when I committed, because that was about when I think I committed on the spot when Georgia gave me the preferred walk on, and it was a dream come true to think about where I was a year ago talking to D3 schools for dual sport, and then to have the opportunity to play for just the school that you've grown up watching on TV for football and baseball. And I mean, even as a preferred walk on, just as a chance to go earn a spot on the team, and be around that group of guys, it was a blessing for sure.
So I was going to ask why Georgia, but it seems like, that was the dream.
Yeah.
Eventually, growing up, that's, you're in the backyard, so to speak, and like that's the dream. And
Mhm.
if it was the preferred walk on that got you there, it seems like you took full advantage of that. I will ask before I turn it over. Um, did At what point does the preferred walk on get eliminated? Because obviously, I mean, let's be real, you can't be a preferred walk.
Yeah, so that I was taken off the preferred walk-on list, I think Christmas of my freshman year. Or no, that's wrong. It was definitely last summer, the summer before this fall, or before last fall, sorry, was when I came off and was lucky enough to get put on scholarship.
What is what is that feeling, and how does that conversation go down? Was it clear, like, yeah, like this is gonna happen, like I'm like just head and shoulders like better than some of these guys, and I'm doing great, or was it something where it completely caught you off guard? You worked hard, you put your nose, to the stone, and boom, like it paid off.
Yeah, so how that kind of went down is when I got to campus freshman fall, I had definitely had some good inter squad games and performed well on the field and in the classroom, and just kind of took care of the business I needed to, and then got that red shirt decision Christmas of my freshman year, and just kind of took that for what it was. I knew it was something that we'd had a lot of older veteran guys coming through the program, and that had those spots pretty much locked down. There wasn't really an option for me to play anywhere just because they were all fifth year and even some sixth year guys that were sticking around and playing. But I kind of took that as, look, I still wasn't where I needed to be totally to play. Like, could I have played? Yeah, maybe, but there was still plenty of room for improvement, and there still is. And so I just use that as those live ABs that you get during redshirt season against those arms, and all the time you get in the weight room, and you get a lot more attention from in the weight room and diet and stuff like that. And so I just use that as the opportunity that it was, and then yeah, I got the phone call that I was coming off preferred walk-on status, and that was it was at the end of my summer ball season, which was Northwoods last summer. I was a couple weeks from coming home. I think it was in late July, and that's when that happened.
So before we continue on, I'm shifting this interview to Randy. Randy, I heard the word Tennessee and I thought, I bet Randy's heart skipped a beat with the thought of Charlie in that Tennessee lineup.
Charlie, before he came on here, he gave me nightmares in that Georgia series, man. But it's okay, man. Hey, baller's gonna ball.
Yeah, we would gladly take you on any of our teams, Charlie. There's no doubt about that. But you talked a little bit about it, touched on it with the red shirt on why the decision and everything. But we have learned from talking to many guests that red shirt's so beneficial, and you listed off the many reasons why it was so beneficial. But what would you say was the biggest of them all that you were able to take from that red shirt season?
Yeah, so I'd say it was the ability to be around the game without being kind of thrown to the wolves metaphorically. So like I was able to kind of sit in the dugout and see the pace of an SEC game and see what's that like because compared to the high school baseball experience I had before, it was night and day, just the talent that's out there. And so being able to see how older guys went about their business and took care of it, and then obviously the weight room aspect and just getting acclimated to college pitching in practice and live AVs and stuff like that, being able to see the difference in off speed and fastball and all that good stuff. But just the experience without having to be thrown in right away was definitely a huge advantage.
Yeah, no doubt. And so, obviously they make regionals that year, and you talk about being in the dugout. What was that like to be a part of, them making a postseason run?
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's definitely something you're trying to do every year. I was around until I think the last SEC series was when I was still in town, and then after that I went out to start my summer ball season out in the Northwoods, and I was there from opening day until we got eliminated from playoffs, which is a long summer. But yeah, to see those guys go out there and kind of make that regional and do kind of what you're working for the whole summer and the whole fall leading up to the spring, it was really cool to see, and it's definitely somewhere we're looking forward to getting back to this year.
Yeah, no doubt. So you talked about weight room, nutrition, learning from upperclassmen. All these things clearly prepared you because it panned out well. As everyone knows, you are Baseball America D1 NCBWA Freshman of the Year, SEC Freshman of the Year, National Freshman Hitter of the Year, SEC Freshman home run record. So before we even get into the season as a whole, man, when I read those accolades off, like some guys say that doesn't matter to them, but like for you, like to know that you accomplished that when you read those about yourself, how does that make you feel?
First off, yeah, thank you. It's really cool, for sure. It's something that you try not to pick your head up and look at when you're in the middle of the season, but it is something that I've processed now that we've been done for a little bit. It's definitely something I'm really proud of. Just kind of the work that I'd put in to get up to that point, but it's definitely just the first step. It's nothing to hang your hat on. It's the first step to a long process that I know we're just getting started with. But to have some firm background that allows me to know that I can compete at this level is huge moving forward. But it's definitely, yeah, it's cool to see your name thrown out there with all those accolades. But it's definitely it's just the start for sure.
Well, it was fun for the three of us, because we had Ethan Petrie on the show, and seemed like he was going to have this thing in the bag, right? And then we're all on here talking not so fast, like old Charlie down in Georgia's got something to say about it, and like obviously you ended up winning, so it was cool. Like it was, it was a legit race when you're talking about two freshmen that are arguably not just playing for freshman of the year, y'all are playing for SEC players of the year, like. And so it was just cool to watch two young guys like that just have seasons like that. And so shout out to both of y'all. You batted 386, 25 home runs, 67 RBIs, which gave you the team's triple crown. But obviously team game 29 and 27 on the season. So not meeting the expectations, that are expected of Georgia. We just talked about a postseason to run year before, but specifically for you as a hitter, let's talk about it, man. Just using some of the guests of the show, what's it like in the SEC when you face guys like Paul Skeens, Chase Dolander, Hagen Smith, Will Sanders, just to name a few? I mean, just how hard is the SEC grind?
Oh, it's an absolute gauntlet for sure. And you look at the schedule going into the season, and you're like, dang, we got LSU, Tennessee, Vandy on the road, Florida, all like back to back, and you're like, yeah, we're kind of in for it right now. And so it's a testament to the league itself. The SEC is as competitive as it gets, and you've got to have your stuff every day. You can't let your mind slip and be like, hey, I just don't really have it today, or hey, I don't really have it this at bat. It's you've got to be locked in 24/7, because if you're not, the guy across from you 100% most definitely is, and he's going to have his best stuff and that's how you've got to be prepared. Is that hey, they're gonna, and that's what's so rewarding about it too, in my opinion, is if you're competing at this level, hey, it's the best of the best. It's really cool to have like success at this level, just because hey, it's it's as good as it gets. Pretty much, the competition is unreal. And so yeah, huge to see so many crazy good arms this year and so much talent was just awesome for the experience.
And you don't have to answer this question, but it wasn't even on my notes. But now I'm curious, who do you think had the filthiest stuff you saw all year?
I've said this all year. I think it was Hurston Waldrop. His splitter had me in a pretzel. He was picking me apart. He'd go, I mean, 96, 97 at the belt, and just topple that slider off the table. But yeah, I mean, him, and then obviously Skeens with the fastball, the ghost fastball, and I'd say another one is Hagen Smith out of Arkansas. That little back foot slider he was giving us was no fun for sure.
Yeah, and the bad news for you and everybody else is Hagen's back. So the
yeah,
other two are gone. The other two are gone.
got to know Hagen this summer. He's a great dude, and yeah, it's not an at bat you look forward to, but it's he's super great guy, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again this spring. But yeah, no, that was another really cool part of the summer.
You know what's funny? We talk on the show, and Daniel tries to stay off social media for a reason. Randy contains himself. I'm the one that get in arguments. Hagen Smith has a bad outing against TCU, and all of a sudden he's no longer the Golden Spike semifinalist that he was, and all of a sudden Arkansas doesn't have any pitching. I'm like, this dude's been lights out.
That was a lot of their own fans too.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
It's
but it was
crazy.
It was like TCU was just a buzzsaw, man. It just was what it was.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah,
thanks
you
to our in off the bench guest Trey.
Yeah, Trey Richardson was the guest of the show. He told us the success, or no, his teammate came on and told us the success was because he came on right after. Said it was IHOP in the morning. What do you have for dinner, Randy?
Oh man, I don't remember,
Daniel?
But it was something crazy, something that we would.
Yeah, but it was a crazy combination of his dinner, breakfast that before that game that he said led to the 3 home runs. But speaking of beating Arkansas and high notes, y'all's biggest series as a team, man. Talking about just catching, that was when Georgia caught everybody's attention and said, okay, this team may not be somebody that we need to write off because a sweep over top 5 Arkansas, at home, man. Just talk about that series for a team, just how good that felt for you guys. To beat a top 5 team and kind of find your footing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows that our start in SEC play was about as bad as it gets, and it was a little bit of a nightmare for us. That 1-8 start was tough, and then we knew, we were like, hey, it only goes up from here. We know this record doesn't represent who we are as a team, and so yeah, to go out there, I think we then got a win against Kentucky, who I think was ranked in top 15 at the time. So we won 2 out of 3 against them, picked up some traction, and then yeah, got the series sweep against Arkansas. And we were like, hey, yeah, this is a little more like it. This is what we can do. This is what we're capable of, and definitely put us back on track. And yeah, drew some attention. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on and get the wins that we needed to in the rest of SEC play. But I think it just goes to show the potential that and the talent that this program really has when it's all clicking like that.
Well, obviously, you see all the LSU stuff behind me. LSU fan, y'all had us on the hook. I mean, the one game could have went either way, and then obviously you would have had that series too. Like, y'all definitely made that really, really tough. Like, and I think y'all did that for a lot of teams this year, even in losses. Like, I mean, Georgia was highly competitive. The game I want to talk about most that just excites the 3 of us the most. There's one team we really hate, Charlie. So much so, I'm not even making this up. People think we're joking. It goes back. My favorite is to tell people Judd Fabian said he'd come on the show, and I was like, man, we're good. We don't do Florida. We won't ever. We're not going to. If Hurston Waldrop messes me right now, so we're coming on, we're going to say, no, we don't do Florida because we don't like Florida. And so with that, on Friday, April 14th, you decided you were going to hit not 1, not 2, but 3 bombs against Florida in Gainesville for the team to get a W, man. Talk about that game.
That game, man, it took me probably a week to process what happened in that game, because I mean it was also my 20th birthday, which really just puts the cherry on top. So, but yeah, we were going into enemy territory, which Florida's obviously the rival for us. So going down there to Gainesville, we knew it was going to be a packed house for Friday night against Brandon Sproat, and there's obviously a super decorated pitcher and super talented and everything that he's done. But no, it was such a fun night because just to be a part of that win was the comeback at the end. It really was just like kind of lit a fire under us to get us going for the rest of the series. But it was definitely something that was really awesome to be a part of, and put some good swings on baseballs for sure.
So I mean, you may have had some amazing birthdays as a child. I don't know, but I feel like in your 20 years that might have been your best birthday. Would I be wrong?
Yeah, yeah, no, my mom's probably mad that all those birthday parties she put on when I was little. I'm sorry, they can't really touch that.
No doubt, no doubt. What did you have for breakfast this morning, Charlie? Us find out what, because I mean Trey had 3 bombs off IHOP. I mean, what's we got to figure it out. Me, Randy, and Daniel, we don't play baseball, but we'd like to have success just in our daily lives.
Yeah,
What's the
right.
what's the formula?
I don't know if I can credit the breakfast because it was probably some water hotel eggs and some cold bacon, and I don't know, maybe some hash browns if you were lucky. But it was that hotel that spread over there. I guess they had something in
The
the eggs.
buffet.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was.
All right, so I got to ask you, man. I don't know. Obviously, we're off season right now. You've been doing Team USA, but just how much contact have you had with Wes Johnson? Obviously, hate to see him leave LSU, but I know what you're getting there at Georgia. Amazing coach. He's going to definitely do big things for your pitching staff. Just how much have you got to interact with him and really the team as a whole?
Oh no, it's easy to tell we're in great hands. I think from day one this hire was huge for the program, and yeah, ever since he got the job, he and I had been in contact over the phone mostly throughout the summer, just because I was bouncing around from Cape for a couple of weeks and then down to North Carolina for USA stuff. I was really only in touch with him over the phone, but he did a great job of keeping me in the loop with his plans and stuff like that. Obviously, as they finished up in the postseason and got that huge national championship, which was so awesome to see for him. Um, and then, hey, I think 2 days later, he was back down in Athens getting set up and ready to go over here. So it just goes to show the work ethic and where his head's at and how ready to go he is to get this program back to where it needs to be.
Yeah, I
But
mean
yeah,
your pitching
so
staff's got to be excited because I mean
oh my
let's
gosh,
call
yeah,
let's call it what it is. Paul Skeens was not like that before he got there, and Ty
no,
Floyd, who's our boy, so it's not he wasn't what he ended up being like. So it really and obviously there's more guys than that, but those are the 2 names that jump off the board, first round picks. But if you just look at the mechanics and the things that they changed up, like that usually attributes to what the pitching coach is doing with them.
no doubt, no doubt, and it's clear to see already. So I'm back in Athens now, getting settled in before classes start, and we've just been kind of going to the field doing some light individual working stuff. And I think everyone's really excited about what he's going to bring to the bullpen and obviously the starting pitchers as well. But he's brought an energy that after getting to meet him in person, it's something that I'm really excited about. It's something he's high energy, he's high effort. He obviously cares a lot about what he does and is very knowledgeable for the whole pitching and baseball in general aspect of things. So I think it's going to be a really productive spring and fall, I think.
Absolutely. So one last question, and then I'll let Randy get into Team USA baseball. One of the questions we like to ask, man, and it's because a lot of people will listen to the show and maybe they're fans of another team, and so maybe they don't know Georgia as well. And so with that, outside of yourself, which everybody knows, obviously freshman of the year, but give some other guys in that batting order that next season they need to be on the lookout for if they're watching Georgia.
Yeah, no doubt. It's returning Corey Collins, who's been a force to be reckoned with as far as left-handed power bats go in the SEC. To have him back, Fernando Gonzalez, just an absolute wizard behind the dish, stealing strikes and obviously getting it done at the plate too. And then obviously I've heard great things about some of our transfers. Colby Branch had an awesome freshman campaign at Baylor, and to have him now man in the middle infield along with Sebastian Murillo, and then we've got some really good freshman talent coming in too. That obviously is going to get a lot better as they get more at bats in the fall. But those are just some of the guys that I think are going to be huge for rounding out this order.
No doubt about it. Excited to see it. But listen, Charlie, you've mentioned it a few times. I see the flag behind you. I want to get into some Team USA stuff. First thing is, how much did it mean to you to put on the red, white, and blue and play for Team USA?
Oh man, even just to get that email to be selected for the training camp was just immediate chills for me. It's something that I've always seen growing up, something that I never really even imagined I'd get to be a part of. But yeah, getting there and getting to be around all those guys, and then as soon as they hand you that jersey and you get to put it on, it's chills for sure. But to go out there and play it with all those guys was a once in a lifetime opportunity for sure.
Yeah, speaking of those guys, you mentioned Hagen Smith, obviously getting to know him. Who are a couple other guys that you kind of went from competing against to now you're competing, with that you
Right.
enjoyed being around?
Yeah, so the first guy that comes to mind is Jay Laviolette from A&M, another freshman sensation for sure. And
Stud.
so he and I were actually up on the same Cape team in Falmouth for a couple games before we took the charter bus and flight down to North Carolina to get USA stuff. So that was kind of just a jump start to kind of bond with him just because we had traveled so much together, and that kind of continued. As he's one of my better friends now from that group. Him and Caglione, obviously, I got to know a lot better just hanging out at first base and doing stuff like that. All great guys and
He's pretty
super
good.
super. Yeah, he's decent.
He's okay.
He can do some.
Would
pretty
we
cool
allow
things
Cags on
coming.
this show, Randy?
The answer is no.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Stud though, stud, absolute stud.
Yeah, and I mean Braden Montgomery, Malcolm Moore, those two guys from Stanford can't speak high enough about them. And it's the coolest part is that it's all over the country. So I mean, my hotel roommate was RJ Green from Cal, and I would have never got to know him that well if it wasn't for this opportunity. And now it's a guy that I'm going to keep in touch with for pretty much ever, I think. And so yeah, just that I think that part of it's the coolest part about summer ball in general is just the immediate picking up and playing with guys that you haven't met before.
Yeah, absolutely. I just got a question. Why do you hate pitchers, Charlie? No, but seriously, I'm just kidding.
You're mad because he didn't say Drew Beam. I get you. Okay.
No, I've noticed throughout this interview that he hasn't said.
I spent a fair amount of time with old Drew, and he's a great dude as well. I mean, there's not a guy that I could speak poorly about on that roster.
I'm just kidding. No, Drew's a good guy. He's been on the show multiple times. We've gotten to know his family really well, spent some time with him. Me up in Knoxville, and then me and Jim both in Baton Rouge, and they were down there. Great. Can't say enough about the family.
For sure.
Just excellent guys. So last thing I'm going to ask you, favorite moment and favorite game from the Team USA experience for you?
Favorite moment was probably, I mean, it's got to be the walk-off on July 4th. It was.
It ain't just a walk-off.
That's
a walk-off
USA.
What? A walk-off what, though?
What do you mean? A walk-off what? Single?
No, wasn't it a grand? Didn't you hit a walk-off grand slam?
No. That's false information.
You did hit a grand slam, didn't you?
I did hit a grand slam, but that was
I
not
thought that
occasion.
was the walk-off. Oh,
no,
man.
I might have passed out if that was the case. But no, it was a single to clinch the sweep against Taiwan on the 4th of July. And I think
picture this. You can picture it.
Yeah.
4th of July, Team USA across your chest, hitting a walk-off. You're 20 years old, Charlie. Do you get a chance? We talked a lot about this. Do you get a chance to put that in perspective, or does that come later?
It's something that's sunk in, obviously, as more time has gone by. And the craziest thing about that night is it was something that was straight out of the Sandlot. There was a neighborhood like back behind the field, and they were shooting off fireworks. Like, yeah, maybe he was back there too, but there were fireworks all over the place while we were playing. Everyone's just like kind of pinching ourselves, like, is this actually happening right now? Because it was straight out of a movie, and to have that kind of fairy tale ending, and just to be the guy. I mean, anybody that was up there in that spot was going to get it done, but I was just lucky enough to be the one to go up there. And
I was going to say, shout out to the photographer, because those pictures that came out, I mean, perfect with the guys with the fireworks in the backdrop. When he says it's like movie-like, the pictures made it look movie-like.
It was unbelievable. It was such a cool experience.
Well, we've reached the end. We are all caught up with Charlie Condon, dude. It's unbelievable the season that you've had, and just kind of capping it off with a great summer. Obviously, you get to start school soon.
Yeah.
Ready for that?
I can't wait. Can't wait to get back in there and get some homework knocked out.
Yeah.
Mom, if you're listening.
Yeah, that's for the brownie points.
Don't forget your backpack, brother.
I might need that.
All right, Charlie, man, we're going to play a game with you before you bounce. It's called This or That. And you don't really have an option. You're going to play it because if you don't play it, that means you're the first of almost 300 guests.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, you can't be the guy. Can't be that guy. So it's simple. I'll give you two options. You choose one option or the other. Don't say both. Don't say neither. We kind of had a little gray area.
Randy, you missed it. While you were gone, he allowed Maurice Hampton Jr. to say neither and both to the same question.
See, I think it's because of the whole Memphis connection. You know, you shouldn't have
No.
let DB do this or that for that guy.
I think
I would have never stood for this.
biased. I'm not gonna lie, I was biased. Sorry.
Sorry,
But
Charlie, you don't get that same kind of
Which,
love.
by the way,
It's
we
all
glossed over Charlie.
Hopefully, I don't need it.
We glossed over Charlie. Almost went to Rose. He was almost in our backyard.
Yeah, you could have been here kicking it with us. Wouldn't that be cool? You made the right choice, FYI.
I think so.
All right, Charlie, here's the first question of many. Get ready.
Okay.
Fried chicken or barbecue? We're talking like pulled pork, a little Sammy,
It's barbecue for me for sure.
Or
Are you heavy sauce?
Oh, you gotta be. You gotta be heavy
You
sauce.
gotta
But
You know,
is the fried chicken as good as they say in Georgia, Charlie? Though I gotta know, or is it just hyped up?
I think it's a little overhyped, to be honest with you. I mean, there are some places that you can get pretty good fried chicken at, but I think the barbecue definitely takes the cake. Especially
He just talked about not being able to gain enough weight. He ain't eating enough fried chicken.
Exactly. Yeah,
Sure.
I guess I can take some notes there.
there you go. Who hits better bombs, Tommy White or Blake Burke?
Tommy White's backside is unbelievable. The backside homers that he's been hitting are insane. So I got to go with old Tommy on that one.
Even as a Tennessee fan, I would too, just because nobody hits a bigger home run and a bigger moment than Tommy White did.
That was talking about fairy tale. That's fairy
That
tale
hair
right
was
there.
flowing, Charlie. My
You
goodness.
can't draw
There
it
was
up
like
any
9
better.
chains flopping all around.
Yeah, that
Dude,
crazy.
I was there, and it was one of the few games where I actually sat in my seat instead of stood behind home plate, and I was really pissed because my video coverage of it all was crappy. I was so mad, but no, that was an electric moment. But we cannot forget that Blake Burke did hit it 479 feet off a church on Sunday. I don't know if it's a sin or not, but he did it.
Yeah, I don't know how that checks out, but that's a pretty decent swing at it, I'd say.
That's Southern Miss's fault because they got the priest to come in and bless it with the holy water the night before. And Blake Burke was like, bet. I've watched the movie.
Say
Exorcist.
less.
Say less, fam.
All right, Charlie. You are relegated to an island. You're on an island, but you have 2 options here. You can choose to be all alone, secluded, all by yourself, nobody to talk to, or you can pick one person, but that one person has to be your worst enemy. What are you picking? You're gonna pick the companionship of your worst enemy or the seclusion and being on your own?
Man, I'd like to think I don't have anybody that hates me that much to where that would be that big of a problem. I think we could make amends, and I think just having someone to talk to. I don't think I could do it by myself. I think I would start to go a little crazy, like what's the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks?
You could have Wilson. And also,
You could have Wilson, and that might be better than your worst enemy. But
So who is your worst enemy and why is it a pitcher?
Here we go again.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Are you a plan ahead guy or a live in the moment kind of guy?
I think I have to say I'm a live in the moment kind of guy. But it's not intentional. If I could plan more, I think I would. But I'd say I'm a live in the moment guy just because of my lack of planning skills.
All right.
DB, you're having an eye twitch. I can already see it. He's twitching it. He's like, oh no, you don't plan. You plan the work and work the plan.
That's why I'm just like, all right, next question. Don't engage.
Charlie, true story. I went to visit this man like 3 weeks ago, and he was asking me like what all I had on the agenda, and then I gave it to him, and then he sent me my own schedule. I'm not even making that up either.
We followed it to a T.
Hey, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to
Right.
do it.
I'm that guy.
I mean, he basically told my daughter, because we were down there for her to do soccer ID camp for University of Tampa. He told my daughter what time she's getting up for breakfast. I mean, he had everybody's schedule.
Hey, there you go. Someone's got to do it.
I'll own it for sure. All right. Would you rather own a massive yacht or a private jet?
Massive yacht. I think you got to be on the water. That's something that I've always loved doing. My family, or both sides of my parents, are from Pensacola, Florida, and so those family reunions are pretty solid. Getting to go out there on those beaches, and I think
How many yachts do they have, Charlie? I'm just curious.
I'd go with the goose egg.
So you're gonna buy a yacht when you become like a top pick. Okay, so we have that.
Oh,
And we
easy
better
there,
be
easy there.
invited to the party. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If there is said thing, for sure we can make that happen.
Charlie, honestly, man, we don't even have to leave the dock.
No, we don't.
Just hang out on the yacht.
Yeah, that
as
gas
long
is
as it's
expensive.
floating. That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
with the right angle, I mean, I'm sure somebody could take a picture. It'd look like we're in
My
the water.
selfies will
You
be
could never
legit,
know.
bro.
You could
would
never
never
know.
know.
The yacht has become more and more famous. The private jet was rolling early season, but late,
Yeah.
it's all been yachts. I'm a yacht guy. I think Daniel's all about the jet. I don't. Randy, where you stand on it?
I want the yacht too because I'm getting the yacht with the helicopter and I'm gonna have
Oh,
both.
that's right. You said you were getting both. There you go.
Two birds, one stone. That's
That's
the
right.
right answer right there.
And that's not neither or both.
No,
It's not. No, it's not.
Like changing the entire question. Helicopter is not
next
a
question,
private-
please.
All right. Would you rather spend an hour in a walk-in freezer or 2 hours in a sauna?
He
Do I get
lives
to
in a
choose
sauna
how
right
I'm
now.
dressed? Do I get to pick my outfit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think I've had enough of the Georgia heat. I think I'm going an hour in the walk-in freezer because there might be snacks in there too.
You gonna eat them frozen?
Nice little ice
Hey,
cream
maybe.
sandwich.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
there's ice cream. You know,
SpongeBob popsicle, little bomb pop. You never know what's gonna be in there.
bomb
Let me
pop.
tell you something. My wife had one of those drumsticks yesterday.
Oh
Let
yeah,
me tell you something. It's been a minute since I had one of those.
those
Undefeated.
are special. Those are special.
The
Yes,
very
like-
bottom of the cone with the chocolate, bro.
Yes, that last bite, you can't beat it.
But
Look,
since
I
he
got a
brought up bomb
4-year-old.
pop, Randy, you seen how small they come in the packages these days? It's kind of depressing.
Oh, yeah.
We were kids; they were huge.
They
Yeah,
felt
they-
huge anyway. I think that might have been some perspective. But anyway, look, that little chocolate. I have a 4-year-old, right? I didn't tell him there was chocolate on the bottom, so he got down almost to the end. I was like, "Oh, you don't want that, right?" You
That's crazy.
F-
Oh my
FTK.
gosh.
All right. Last question, Charlie. Would you rather win $1 million, but you have to spend it on other people, couldn't spend any of it on yourself? Or would you rather win $100,000, but you could only spend it on yourself?
Oh, I think you go with the $1 million and spend it and spread the love a little bit, because then as soon as you got to make some friends, and I think it's the easy choice. It's you got to look out for your friends and family.
You're right. It's an easy choice, but it's the wrong choice.
I think we've disagreed on every one so far. I don't
think
know.
so.
Well, Randy's agreed with you throughout the thing, but he's disagreeing with you here too.
Yeah, I don't have any real friends like that. I'm all about myself, Charlie.
I mean, that's 10 times the cash, though.
But it's not for you. It's for other people.
Yeah, but you never know. It's the networking. You make some friends. You never know what they can do down the road.
All of a sudden, I agree with you.
He's buying them the yacht, and he's hanging out on it.
That's right.
Exactly.
I could be in a life or death situation, and Randy could have $1 million, and he'd be like,
Sorry. I'm gonna hold it.
Yeah. Yeah, holler at me when you get back home, though, big dog.
Yeah, no, they asked it on local radio the other day, Randy. Speaking of, I said, have the friend own the yacht. They said, would you rather be the one that owns the toys or have the friend who owns all the toys? And
Friend.
I would rather have the friend own all the toys. I don't want any responsibility. I just want to use them.
No. I just got back from Florida staying in a condo that's owned by a friend of mine. I don't have any maintenance. I don't have to pay the cleaning lady. I ain't got to do none of that stuff. And then next year, I'm going to go back to the same condo. He going to have it. And in the meanwhile, he done spent 365 days paying for it, cleaning it, maintaining it. And I'm just chilling.
Yep. It's about who you know.
and you
I
let
hope he
them
doesn't listen
kids
to this
go in there and
episode.
just run roughshod to them.
Hey,
Yeah.
he knows
Yeah.
how many kids I got. He asked for it, boys.
Oh man, Charlie, it's been a blast, dude. Before you bounce, anything you want to
Absolutely.
plug or promote?
No, not really. I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to come out here and talk with you guys. It's been fun, and I just appreciate it. And y'all keep doing what you're doing. It's been fun to listen to some of those episodes. It's cool to be actually one with my name on it.
There you go, man. It could be the best. It's up to you.
I don't know about that.
I know so. See, I know what the following's like down there in Athens. I know.
Ethan Petrie's coming for you in no more ways than baseball, baby.
Right, man. So before you bounce, I'll let everybody know if you want to see Charlie Condon and you want to know what he's up to on a Monday night, maybe he's recording a podcast, or a Tuesday night. Maybe it's Taco Tuesday in the Condon abode. So, going over to IG at Charlie Condon 24. This I mean, obviously, as early as this fall, you guys are going to be firing up on the diamond. So go over to Instagram, baseball UGA. You'll see what they got cooking. I got one question. What is the fall like? We've had a lot of different teams, and they all do something different in the fall. That's just kind of like a series. What do you guys do?
We do so we do the Omaha Olympics, which is our like weight room challenge thing where it's all sorts of it's like some days you'll walk into the weight room and it'll be something that's totally terrible. It'll be like, oh, max squat day. And then other days you'll walk in, it'll be like, all right, we're playing offhanded dodgeball or spike ball. So you just never really know what you're getting into, which is honestly really fun. And then as far as on the field, we do our red and black World Series, which is always super fun, which I think uh, usually how that works is the winners get at our Christmas party, like at the end of the year, winners get steak and the losers get hot dogs. And I think I lost this year, and I was perfectly fine with the hot dogs. To be honest, I was
Lizzie's.
more than happy. That's what I'm talking about.
Look, the steak is the only way. We know a couple teams that don't do steak, and they're not doing it right. And the best part was with Mississippi State, Charlie. The losers have to cook it and serve it, and then watch you eat it. And that's my favorite.
That's the tough. Yeah, we have to serve it. Unfortunately, they don't give us the liability of cooking it because they probably don't want us to poison each other. But yeah, no, they definitely eat first, and we definitely put it on their plate and watch them eat it, which is definitely the worst part.
Daniel, is the best story still to come from it when Josh Hatcher said he was round and short and told Cam how he liked his steak prepared?
That's it.
And then the next year he was not playing for Mississippi State. It's weird.
But he did get the
stud. That guy's a stud. Is a hot dog a sandwich, Charlie? Before you go,
I think a hot dog's a taco, is it not?
I think it's the perfect.
That's what
answer,
Carolyn
actually.
Pickens said from the Vols. That's why you said it was the perfect answer.
Perfect answer.
But you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to just keep it real for the audience. Daniel has froze. So with that, we are going to take a break, plug our sponsors, and when we come back, we are going to do headlines.